Welcome to another Founder Wisdom podcast with Carmen Reed Gilkison. She is the founder at Encore Empire. She's working with female entrepreneurs to assess, develop, and optimize their businesses for sustainable profitability. We will talk about that today. We will talk obviously about her journey as a founder and being a podcast host as well along the way, everything that she's founded so far. This podcast is brought to you, by the way, by podpire.com. That is my company. If you want to start or scale your podcast, go to podpire.com. Carmen, welcome to the podcast. Tell me a bit more about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
Thanks, Charles. Happy to be here. Yeah, so I'm one of the co-founders at Encore Empire. My business partner is a CPA. I'm an online business manager and a whole person coach. So we've kind of combined our experience there to create a holistic experience for our clients, and we love that. These days, we are actually shifting into a more asynchronous support system with our clients, and it's working out really well. We work with people all over the world, and so there are always clients who we can't connect with one-on-one on a call because of time zone issues. So we've decided to lean into that a little bit more. And so that's kind of what 2024 is about, is kind of creating more. We're very hands-on, high touch, and that has not changed. But it's been nice and freeing to have the asynchronous support instead of one-on-one all the time.
So I very much agree that owning a business is one of the most empowering thing a human can do. You mentioned that in your Encore business banner as well. Why do you think that is?
Because it is one of you always hear that it's the best personal development path you could go on, and that's 100% sure, right? We are challenged constantly. So when we're challenged and we do all these things, we overcome these things, and we realize that we have the ability to push ourselves out of our comfort zone and attain these goals and earn money on our own terms. That's what's so empowering about it. And it's so much fun. I just absolutely love it.
Do you think women are on the way there?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think there's a study recently that women over 40 make up the majority of new business startups in the United States, at least.
40%?
No, I don't know what the percentage is, but the majority of new startups is women over 40.
Okay,
Yeah.
over 40. Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
interesting. Over 40. Why not younger? Why not like start a business as a 20-year-old like I did?
Oh, I think it's great to start a business as a 20-year-old. I think our market and the reason we focus on women over 40 is because we are women over 40 and we know that things are different. It's your audience is different, your approach is different, and there's nothing wrong with one or the other. It's just a different approach. And so we like to work with women who have that life experience. There's a lot that goes on in life, and when you have made it 40 years or more, you have a ton of experience that you can pull into your business venture that you just don't have when you're in your 20s. When you're in your 20s, you have, there's pros and cons to each. So when you're in your 20s and 30s, you have more energy, you have more drive, you have more ambition potentially, although I would argue that I'm super ambitious and I'm 60. So, but it's just a different approach. So our niche is women over 40, but that's not to say that we don't respect or value the younger startups at all.
Right. So who are your clients? They're over 40, they're women, most of them, obviously. Are they in some specific niche? Is it their first startup? Do they come from corporate? What do they look like?
So it's a mix, and they're over 40. Typically they're B2B, although we do have some like therapists and B2C type business owners. We've got brand designers, copywriters, yoga instructors, web developers, tech gurus, or not gurus, tech teachers, people that focus on helping other people learn the tech of the online world. So it's a lot of B2B. Most of them have come from a corporate career. A lot of them, it is their first or second startup. Some of them come to us after they've had a successful business for multiple decades, but something's just not working anymore. And so we do a deep dive into what could that be. Let's talk about who their ideal client is. Let's talk about their messaging. Let's get into that. With Deirdre, my business partner, being a CPA, she's able to look at businesses in a different way than I am. And she sees things from the auditor's perspective and the financial perspective. So it's a really good mix. And that's really, we've got, like I mentioned, they're from all over the world. So they're doing all kinds of things. The main commonality is it's their dream. They're living their dream. It's that empowerment of bringing their business to life.
They're living their dream, but they're living the constant pain of running a business as well. So how
That's
do
right.
they handle that part?
Well, that's where we come in to help them, because a lot of it comes down to systems and operations. We need to get those set up. We like to help people create rinse and repeat. So we want things to be built so that it's the most easily functioning in the background, and it doesn't require a lot of hands-on of the CEO. And that takes time. And so they handle it. They hit the bumps, they hit the imposter syndrome, they hit this launch failed. It's all the bumps that we're all going to have. And we're all going to have that no matter what, right? That doesn't stop. There's no end point. There's no day where I've made it and I'm done when you're an entrepreneur. It's constantly going through the changing market, the changing world, the changing your audience. Who's that? Who is that? What are they seeing? What are they feeling? What are they doing? So we help them with that. And a lot of that comes down to mindset. So you can have the greatest program in the world, the greatest course in the world, you can get results for your clients, but you're still going to feel those mindset issues that cause imposter syndrome, that make you feel less than, all that kind of stuff. And so that's what we focus on as well. The whole person coaching aspect is where I come in with that. And that's a big help, because we teach our clients how to reframe these things, right? We're all going to hit the potholes and the bumps along the way, but let's reframe it and look at, what have we gained from this? How is that going to inform our decisions going forward?
Right. So how many clients do you have right now, and do you want to grow this into some number by the end of that year?
Yeah, so we have about 20 clients right now, and 20 is a good amount. I mean, I think we could probably double that, and that would be nice. But we're not looking to get super huge. So again, we're really hands-on and high touch. So we have to keep it to a level that we are able to keep that, because that's our commitment. That's one of our gaps in the market that we fill is, when you come onto the online world to learn how to run a business, you take all the courses, all the programs, all this and that. And for the most part, you're just put into a learning platform to watch however many hours of video and figure it out on your own without getting any one-on-one guidance. And so that's the gap we fill. We provide the guidance. So we have a great platform that allows us to as they work through our modules, because we do have a learning platform as well, but they're able to answer questions. We're able to respond. We're able to guide them through. Then they also have a private chat channel with us. So they've got access to us 5 days a week. So they're never left alone and stuck. And I think that's a big thing. And so that's what we do. So because of that, we don't want to get to hundreds unless we were to start training new coaches to come along and do what we do. But we really love the boutique model that we have.
How did you meet your co-founder?
We met at an online event in April of 2020. And so it was an event that was supposed to be in person. It was online because of COVID at the time. And it was just it was a great story. It was one where the person putting on the event, they were still at the hotel, because at that point, everyone hadn't figured out how long this was going to be, and he hadn't gotten his money back yet. So he's filming from the hotel, or broadcasting from the banquet room. And so what he did, which was really cool, was he set up tables. If we were there in person, we would have been assigned a table. So he set up what he called tables, which were channels in Slack. And so he would do his presentation, or whoever was the featured guest that day or hour would do theirs. And then he'd say, okay, now go back to your table in Slack and do the work that we're working on. And so there were 6 people at my table, and my business partner Deirdre was one of them. And we just really hit it off from day one. And so all 6 of us stayed in touch for a while, but the rest kind of dropped away after a while. But Deirdre and I just kept finding more and more synchronicities and ways that we really connected. And so we kept talking. And then pretty soon, by the time August came, we're like, we need to start, let's run a workshop. We'll do a joint venture for 6 months and see how this goes. Because we really had a great vision and we had the same goals. So we decided to do that. And so, I wasn't looking for a partner. She wasn't looking for a partner. And there's a lot of things that come up when you have a partner. Like, I didn't want to ride her coattails. I didn't want her to ride my coattails. We both kind of had that concern. And then it's like, what is your work ethic? Does your work ethic match? I mean, it's not an easy thing, but we call it divine intervention because it was really smooth and easy for us. And we recommend anyone who is considering it to do what we did, which was a short-term joint venture to test things out. So you're not, starting a whole entire company right then. And so that's what we did. We ran a workshop. We sold into a program that we had just outlined. Basically, we had the first couple modules done, and then we built it with those women that we sold it to, and then we sold it a couple more times. So after about 6 months, we were like, yep, this is going. We're going to do it. And we formed the company.
Very nice. What are your top goals this year?
Top goals are to master the asynchronous and hands-off aspect while still delivering the real customer service feel that we have. So that's my goal. And it's a lot. It's interesting. I talked about a little bit ago, systems and operations. That's what it's really coming down to, is let's shift how the back end of the business is structured to support this. And so I love the tech part of it. I love the back end and operations. That's where my online business manager personality comes in. So I'm working on that. So that's my big goal. I mean, it's really the only goal. Other than that, I would say, just spend enough time enjoying time with my family and my grandkids and stuff like that.
And your courses, they seem to be pretty holistic, from taxes to marketing to lead gen. Uh,
Yeah.
do you want to keep it that way, or do you want to go very deep in one topic?
We have thought about this, but what we like to say is we teach people the business of business, and it requires us to help them create the foundational business strategy. So we know that people need and want to learn marketing. They want to learn how to make more sales. And we also know that that's not just it, that you also need to understand, do you need help? When do you need help? How are you going to hire the help? When will you know if you're ready or not? So that requires the financial setup. We know that processes need to be set up. We know the systems need to be set up. So really, we don't want to go deep into one area because it is that foundational business strategy that we help our clients build. And that requires us touching base in these areas. And so we've got our learning platform as a 6-module program that takes people, if you were to go through it straight through, it'd probably take 6 months or less to go through it. And our program is about a year. So we've got time built in there that they can go through things, launch things. We can optimize, we can look at the data. We can say, okay, let's tweak this and let's try that. It's really like a big, long working session with our clients. And that's when I say that we have the hands-on approach, it's a lot of fun. I wouldn't want to do it any other way. Like, I can't imagine having a program where clients just go in and learn the stuff and then you never see them again. We get to see what's happening and test and tweak along with our clients. And so that's what we do. And that requires, I think, a more expanded curriculum.
Are you thinking of relaunching your pod?
So our podcast is a little bit on a hiatus, but yes, we have some episodes in the queue that'll be coming up, and we'll be going forward starting in April.
Very cool. What are your podcasting tips? How do you get great guests on? How do you know what question to ask them and make great edutaining content?
Sure. So we actually want to make sure that a lot of our episodes are just Deidre and I sharing our stuff. We get a ton of pitches all the time, as I'm sure you do. It happens all the time. And so a lot of times we look at, this is a tip for anyone who does want to get on more podcasts, is make sure you listen to a couple episodes of the podcast. You actually know what's going on. We've had people pitch us who obviously knew nothing about the podcast. So we will vet the people that we get pitched when we are looking for someone new. A lot of times it comes from our networking. You know, Deidre and I are big networkers, so we meet a lot of people online. We have a big network already. We will get referred by one friend, will refer another. So really finding the good guests isn't difficult. And then to make the episode what we want it to be, we discuss ahead of time. We have an actual speaker form that they fill out, so we know who they are, what their topic is. We say, give us a few questions to ask, and we like to really be informal is the word I'm looking for, and not, we want questions to get an idea of how we want how they would like it to go, but we say we reserve the right to ask other questions as well, because we don't want it to just be scripted. You know, we're not going for that, but we want to, a lot of times that helps the podcast guest when they know what questions might be asked. If they're new to it, they're uncomfortable. If they have an idea of, okay, this is how it's going to go, it makes them feel more comfortable. So most of the time it just is a lot of fun. It's just a conversation that goes the way that we want it to. We know the topic ahead of time, and it goes about 30 minutes, and it's a blast. So.
And then how do you get feedback from your audience if they liked it or not?
Well, we've gotten several clients from our podcast, and we do get comments from our clients as well, our existing clients. Oh my God, I listened to that. We've also got a Facebook group that is, 3,700 or something people. So we get comments from those, our people in our group as well. So we get good feedback from it. And the fact that we get pitched all the time is also good feedback as well.
Great. Yeah. And for the guest to come on, it must be like a better convo than either you with yourself or you with your business partner, which is sometimes tricky. Do you use the podcast as well as a learning tool? Like, how do you get to learn from people from information that would not normally be in books? How, is it like asking great questions? It intentfully listening or going in places which normally a book or a chat GPT cannot go?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point that you bring up is, when we're bringing on someone, it is someone that we want to supplement what we teach already. It's someone who is complementary in some way. And so by a lot of it, it's the story. I think that our stories as entrepreneurs are the things that chat GPT and books are not going to tell you. And so podcasts are really good for that, because when you get in the conversation, and if you're asking, what is your origin story? How did you get here? What is your journey? What made you decide this or that? That's where you get knowledge. For entrepreneurs, I think, especially, to hear from other people who are doing it and how they did it is very valuable.
On a content perspective, how do you produce extra content from stuff that was said on the podcast?
Yeah, so we just pull out clips and we can create things in Canva. So Canva's one of my favorite things, and we pull those things out or create graphics out of it or whatever to lead to the episode. And we always put our podcast episodes become a blog post on our site. So it's also something else that we can share. It's got the entire transcript there. It's got everything for people to see, and then links to whatever our call to action is or whatever that is. So it helps our SEO.
Great. Well, Carmen, thank you for today. Where can people find out more about you?
Yeah, they can find us on our website. EncoreEmpire.com is the best place. Facebook or LinkedIn is where Deidre and I hang out as well. Our Facebook group is Empire of Midlife Entrepreneurs. So if they want to look that up, if they're interested in the group, we do trainings in there, and it's a really good supportive group there. So